the bank, it's a bank data, is channeled higher in specific countries, or what you're calling it geographical locations, based maybe on where this organization operates. In this case, does credit score affect customer churn? So which age group is more likely to churn? So is there a relationship between the number of product and also the churn rate? So the last part is about like few SQL commands that I would like us to touch. In this case, I have like their keywords that I use in SQL. Keyword number one is select. Why do we use select in this case? Because I know this is something that you might be, if you're a beginner, you might not be able to really understand what does select mean. Why do we use select? Why do we use from? Why do we use where? Group by, count, average, sum, and order by. So I'll be touching these as we progress. From here, I'll go to the data that I'll be using. So this is the data that I want us to import and then use it in the database. So my main tool for analysis is database to perform simple descriptive statistics based on the objective that I have already created. So number one is to understand the data. I just give you a simple snap view of the data. So number one, what we have here, we have how many columns? If we're able to see, we have 14 columns in this case, and the total number of loads is a big data, is like 10,000. We have 10,000 columns in this case, loads, sorry, all observations, and 14 what you're calling them the columns. So in this case, we have column one, which is a loan number. So 1 to 10,000, customer ID. We have a customer ID. We have a surname. In this case, we have a credit score for these customers. We have geographical location. Maybe these customers are based in France, Spain, and Germany. Also, we have gender. Is he a male or a female? Age 42 up to, yep. Then the tenure. Tenure is the number of years these customers have served with this company or this bank. 2, 8 years, 1 year. Then the balance is account or account. Then the number of products. In this case, one or 3. Then does this customer having a card? Is this customer an active member? Because you might having an active or not active. Then estimated salary for these customers, and also exited. So in this case, the main goal is whether this customer exited the bank or still operating. 1, exited. 0, still working or operating with the bank. So what you're going to do in this case will be importing this data into a page admin, which is the SQL, and then proceed to the next step. So it is the next step. I'll move directly to page admin, which is PostgreSQL page admin. So this is the first thing that I see when I open my page admin. I have a video on how to import page admin, and also another video that I created on how to really then you scroll down up to where you have the tables. So what you realize on this database, we are calling it Churn. We don't have anything under these tables. So what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to create a table that will store our data. When we import the data will come and then will be stored in this table. So what to do is, there are 2 ways on how to import the data or how to create these tables. Number one, video 1 shows that, but now video 3, this one, I'll show you the next method that you can use to create your table. So I'll be right clicking here, and I'll say I'll be creating a table in this case. And to create my table, I'll use a query in this case. So I'll click write a query. So this is what I'll be doing. I'll be writing a query. be writing a query. In this case, it is simple. You can see I've really opened the query editor in this case. So my table, I'll call it Churn, or even I can call it customers. In this case, I can call it customers. So I'll say create table. The first thing I call it, the name of the table is customers. In this case, let's use the words, then into bracket. What I'll be doing in this case, I'll be coming to this data. I'll be copying all these columns that I have, the columns header, like row ID, customer ID, surname, in this case, and then I'll be using them to create the table. For example, in this case, we have what we are calling the row number as the first column in this case, and then this is an integer. It's just a number. You have to really be able to understand the data types that we have. Column number 2, sorry, column number 2 is customer, what you're calling it, customer ID. Then this is a big int, the correct is a big integer. It's a big integer. Then I moved to the next column. The next column was a surname, if I'm not wrong. Sorry, I have a problem with my keyboard. So it's a surname. So the surname is a character. So we're going to call it Michelle. Is a character. Then we give it to maybe 50, more than 50 characters, because it's a surname. So the other one is a credit score. Sorry, it's a credit to execute it, or even to what we are calling it to learn. And see, there is an error somewhere. There is an error somewhere, line 17. Where's that error? Oh, I have to closing brackets, so I have to delete one and then I execute again. So query successfully executed. So now this is okay. So what I'm supposed to do is to go back to my database. I go back to the Churn database, and then I have to go back to tables. Make sure you go to schema, then tables. So what you can do in this case, you can refresh. Yeah, just need to refresh, then you come to customers. So we hope you're able now to see the customers. So this is the customers, the customers columns in this case. So now we'll be importing our data to this customers table. So what now needed is for you to right click on customers and then you say import. Now we want to import the data that we have. So it is very easy for you to import. So this is the first interface that we'll be seeing. In this case, we have import. Make sure you click import. You can click export if you want to export your data, but mine is to import the data. Then I have to come here. So you can go to where you have the path of your data, you copy and then you paste it here. Or the alternative, you can come here, click on this arrow and then come here to where you have the churn data and then copy churn modeling data. It's a CSV file. It must be a CSV file, you can see here. So if we have copied the path like that, just is not even copying. In this case, we have just selected. Make sure you go to options. So because it is a CSV, make sure like you have selected the first thing, which is header. Your data is having headers, so that's something which is clear. Because it is a CSV, must be having what you're calling delimiters, and the others are done for you, the quotes, and then the escape, null string, nothing like that. Then for columns, I don't think there is something you need to do, is just to confirm if all the columns are in that you have entered are also what you're able to see in this case, and then you click OK. So everything, copying data successfully, process completed successfully. So now what you need to do is to come back to the table and then you refresh again. So you need to go back to the tables. So you can see is table 1 table, and then you're having 1 because you have added something to the customer's data. So in this case, we are done with the first step of creating tables, creating data. We have created a database, we have created a table, we have written a SQL command or SQL query on how to we are going to create this table, and then we have imported our data from our local storage, in this case in our database. So the next step now will be we want to perform our objectives, or we want now to solve the problem that we are really interested and working on. So number one, what we are going to do, we'll start with writing queries. So we have to open the query editor on where we are going to write these queries. So how am I supposed to do it, or how am I supposed to go about it? So you just need to come back to where you have the customers table, and then you say query tool, because now in this case we want to write our queries. So the first one is where we'll create the table, and then we have another one for now solving the problem that we are interested on. So what will be the first thing that we'll be working on? I had written few objectives. So objective number 1 was to check my data if I have managed to import the data successfully. So we'll be writing that. So to comment on page admin, we use what we are calling them, what do you call them? We use these symbols. In this case, I can't remember the name, so we use them, and then we write what we want to work on. This case, number 1 is checking on my data. It's nothing big, it's just checking my data. So that's the first thing. How am I going to check on my data? Is I'm going to write a SQL command, in this case, which is just select. I'll be selecting in this case all, then from which table in this case. So we'll be selecting all from which table? We'll be selecting all then as, so sorry, as what, as total customers. So number one, I have something else which I've used here which I didn't explain. When we use as is an alias or a label in this case, meaning we'll be selecting all from the data and then give the output of these as total customers. So my result will be having total customers as maybe 20, total customers as 10,000, something like that. Then I have now to go to the next line where now I'll be writing something. So I'll be using then condition statement in this case to select something in this case, to select maybe those customers who exited. I want to count them. So we said, for example, in our data, what you can see in this case, let's move to the head. So we said we have exited as one, meaning this customer left the bank, or even zero, meaning the customer is still operating with the bank in this case. So I'll write a case statement in this case. I'll use case when, then exited. So you should be exited. So exited is equals to 1. Then we say exited is equals to 1. Then 1. If case exited is equals to 1, then 1. Then we have what we call else. It should be 0, which means it's an end. In this case, we just have 1 and 0. So case when exited is 1, when the customer leave the bank is 1. So when the customer is still operating the bank is 0, and then we are going to give it an alias again. In this case, what would be the label for this one? We give it an exited customer, just left the bank. Exited customers, I put what you are calling it a comma. Sorry, also for this one, I have to put a comma in this case. So I move to the next line. I have to do something else. So I want to see this result of what you have created here, what we are doing, like the sum, what we are summing up here. I want to convert it into percentages, and also do what you are calling it load it into 2 decimal places, because now I'll be using the line for the second one, the sum. Case when exited is 1. line. So you are going to sum, still in this case. So you are going to sum, then you are going to also use the same command that you used in the first case, but now, so maybe what I can do is here we're going to use this one, but now we are going to give it a new alias or a new label. So sum then should be inside here. So case 1 is 1, then 1 else 0 as, so this one we give it as what you're calling it, the churn. We'll be calling them the churn. Sorry, it should be caps churned. In this case, let me remove this bracket. I move to the next line, so I'll be doing the same. So I should have copied this because I'll be loading off. I want to see this into percentage, but then we'll give it a different name. So it should be here, churn percentage. Then I have to move to the next line here from. So from what you are calling it custom is from customers table. Should be customers, it's from customers table. Then I move to the next line. I'll be grouping this one. I'll be grouping my result by geographic. So I group by geographics. And when it comes to grouping geography, so when to come to grouping, what you'll be grouping with must be selected in the first case. So you select geography. So the result of maybe churn rate and the total will be grouped using geographic in this case. And then after grouping, what the other thing that we do is to order. You have to order by this case. We will be ordering by what? We'll be ordering by churn rate percentage in this case. That would be my really what I'd like to order my result to see which geographic has a higher churn rate, which has a lower churn rate in this case, percentage, and then we do what we are ordering in descending order in this case, and then a semicolon, and then I click F5. Hope my SQL command is good. So we're able to see the result. In this case we have geographic. So in this case we are able to identify in this database we have 3 geography or 3 locations. We have Germany, Spain, and France. So this bank is operating these 3 countries, Germany, Spain, and France. And in this case the total number of customers in each geography is that France has the majority, 50, 500, 5,000. So Spain and Germany almost the same number of customers. So the churned customers is that France is it 10, Germany is it 14, and also the Spain is for 13. So what is the churn rate percentage? So what you're able to see in this case, Germany has a higher churn rate of 32.44%. So these are the observations. So we have to make sure I come here and I comment them. We say we have seen that Germany, sorry, we are saying that Germany has the highest. So Germany has the highest churn rate of, maybe you can say at that 2.44 percent. Sorry, that 2.44%. Nearly is almost double, nearly double Spain, and France. Sure. So nearly double should be double should be somewhere. So nearly double France and Spain. That is observation 1. Observation 2, what we can see, despite France having the largest number of customers, the churn rate is low, because you see, like France has a higher number of customers as Germany, but now the churn rate in France is lower. So we can say, we can fix it. So despite France having what you are calling the largest customer base, the largest customer base, its churn rate is the lowest. This is something else to note. So maybe some number 3, what you're able to identify in this case, we have now to focus on investigating why you're having a higher churn rate in Germany. So our focus is focus on investigating why Germany has a higher churn rate. will be things that you'll be doing. So maybe what also we can do when you will be investigating is to conduct a targeted, maybe you can do what you're calling conduct a targeted want to see the real results. Then we'll be counting the total number of customers in this case, and then from customers, then grouping by exited, and then I click F5. So there is a problem somewhere. Let me check. It should be a credit score. Sorry, you have to make sure you're writing everything correctly. Credit score, then F5. Good, we have the result here. These are the result in this case. So what is coming out clearly is that the total number of exited in the market is 640. They're having a credit score of 645. Those who stay in the bank have a credit score of 651, so they have a higher. The ones that are leaving, they have a lower credit score. So the number of customers is that we said the one that are leaving is 2,000, the one that stayed is around 8,000. So something like this. So what can we conclude in here? So customer who churned have a slightly lower average credit score, 645 as is seen, compared to who stayed 651. So the difference is small. We have a difference like of 6 points, I think so. 6 points, suggesting that credit score alone may not be a strong predictor. A strong predictor of churn in this case. Yep. That's something that we need to note. Yeah, customer who churned have a straight trade. Customers who churned, we say have a straight trade. We say have a straight trade. We are calling it they have a straight trade. Sorry, I have to write this. Make sure the spelling is correct. Have a straight trade lower average credit score. Is it 640? 645. I'll just leave the decimal points compared to those stayed. They have a 651. If I'm not wrong, yeah. So that is observation number one. So our goal in this case is that this suggests that credit score, alone credit score alone may not be a good predictor. Shouldn't not a good predictor of churn. So in this case, if we'll manage to move to the next stage of creating the model, so we have already identified that credit score will not like contribute to this churn like 100% because it does have a difference of 6 points in this case. The other part is a big one. is not from Churn, it's from customers. My database is customers. That's enough. My database is customers. I click F5 again. Okay, good. I'm able to have it. So mainly what I think is more about how my code is indented. So more is about indentation of the code. So maybe at the end of this video, I'll be sharing the codes for this program in order for you to really practice. You have to practice after me, and then also I'll share the data in order for you to practice. So we go to objective 4 now. We want to see the observation. So our question was like based on age group, which age group is more risky compared to the others. You can see you have grouped our age group based on under 30, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and 50 plus. Total number of customers where you're having majorities between 30 to 39. So under 30 is also a bigger number, but not as big a number. It's bigger as compared to 50 plus. So the customer with the highest churn rate is customers age 50 plus. The older people are churning more than the other. So you can see the other below 30 are not churning, 30 to 39 they are not churning, 40 to 49 they are not. They are having a high churn rate, but not as compared to 30 to 39 and 30 below 30. Mainly because of energy. Below 30 they are having a lot of energy to find money and to work, maybe something like that. They are doing a lot of activity with the bank. These are the Gen Z maybe in this case. So what we're able to identify in this case from the data is that churn increases with age. That is the observation point you have to know. Churn increases because we're able to see it clearly. Churn increases with age. We move to the second point. We say that older people, those customers age 40 plus, churn most nearly have are leaving. That is 45%. Yeah. We say older customers, those are 50 plus. 50 plus churn the most. We say nearly half are leaving. This is because 45% of them, 45% are leaving the bank. So what else? What else in this case? We can say what you can do in this case is to tailor our communication. The other thing we can do is that we also So how are we going to conduct this? We're going to write select. We'll be selecting because of indentation. I've seen that is something that I need to make sure that I follow. Number of products, comma. I move to the next line. I'll be doing what we are calling the count. Then in this case, I'll be using the same command that I've used under this one, the sum. I'll be using this. So sum case. So it's something like this. I have to copy this one, the whole of this. Yeah, it's the whole of this actually. I have to copy that one. I have to come here where I have. So under the count, you have to make sure first we count them, count all. Then we give it a name, give it a label, aliases to customers Then I come here, I paste what I've copied. Then from customers, what we'll be doing next after customer is to group by. So make sure you familiarize yourself with when do we use group by, order by. Those are just trick I'm giving you. Products. The other thing is to order. When you group, you have to order by. Definitely. Order by, I'll be ordering by number of product in this case. So you just copy this one. Copy pasting is easier because you avoid some errors and you make it faster. And then F5. So there is also issue of indentation. There is also issue with indentation. How is that issue? Case when exit one else. So this is sum. You have to type sum. Case when exited is equals to 1, then else 0 add as churned customers. Let me just give it as churned customers. Churned customers, and then loud this one. So in this case is multiplied by case when exited. This one count to decimal place as churn late. Maybe I can say as churn late percent. Sure, I don't even have to remove it. Then from customers, group by products. Where might be that error coming from? Because I can say I've done it correctly. Oh, so this one. There must be the issue here. We have a round of. Sure. Let me now try to execute it. Why? Why am I having so many issue cases when it comes to indentation? What's supposed to do in this case? Let me learn everything from the top. You're having that one. I'm having this one. rate. Yeah, this is the group that should be looked at. Customer with 3 and 4 products have a higher churn rate. Extreme, vertically extremely high churn rate. Yep, you can just use something like that. The last thing that maybe we can need is to investigate these customers, and also you try to restructure all personalized product is to do what we are calling investigate customers in products 2, or maybe investigate customers with more than 3 products. That will help this bank. And also maybe the last thing is to focus on retaining 2 product customers. Focus on how to retain customers with 2 products. And the last 3 is to possibly structure our product. Possibly restructure our product. In this case, possibly structure our product or personalize it to reduce churn. Or make sure you personalize to help in churn reduction. So I think we have done a lot of things. So these are the five major objectives that I was interested in figuring out and identifying, and I have also provided some recommendation to this bank on what it can do to reduce the customer churn. So thank you. Have enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe and like my video, and also I'll be sharing the dataset and then the SQL, the pgadmin SQL command that I've used in this case in order for you to practice. So I'll be sharing the next video. So what I'm supposed to do with this data after this, I've already identified some few things. I'm now supposed to create a machine learning model that can be used to predict the customers who are likely to churn and those who are likely to stay. So that would be the next video for me. I'll be now moving this data to Jupyter Notebook. I'll be creating a machine learning model, and also I'll be creating an application using Streamlight that can help us to enter the customer's details, and then it will help us to predict if this customer is likely to churn or not.